Not all of the labels you'll want to print are necessarily mailing labels. For this reason, there are multiple areas within Successware that you can print out a label. If you're using a client file or an order bag, you may need to print a label that has more detailed information about the client, their session, or their order. We have some preset label templates already created with most of the pertinent information you'll want. If you're in a Modify Session window, you can click on the Print button, and you'll see you have an option to print session labels. When I select Print Session Labels, I can just simply go to the Print button. I'll go into my Label Format subfolder, then open my Session Labels folder, and I have two separate templates already created. We have an Avery 5163 template, or if you're using a Dymo printer, we already have a session label created for the Dymo printer. I'll go ahead and select my Avery 5163. It's going straight to my printer, and I can pull up a preview of what our already created template looks like. Now let's take a look at some of the other pre-made templates we already have available within Successware. If I come to my Order menu and select Modify Orders, you'll see I have similar buttons across the top. When I click on Print, one of my options is to print an order label. I'll go directly to my Print button, and instead of going to the Session subfolder, I'll go to the Order subfolder. Again, we have an Avery template as well as a Dymo template. I'll pull up a preview so we can see the information that's on our pre-made order label. You can see we have the client's name, a couple contact numbers, as well as the order invoice number, the session number, the product line of the session, as well as the date and a deadline. If there's a salesperson attached to the order, that will also be included in the label. We also have a pre-made label template for our client information. I'll click on Print and select Print Client Labels. Again, go into your Label Formats folder, and now we'll go into the subfolder named Client Labels. Here we have 4 different templates. We have an Avery 5160, as well as an Avery 5163, and 2 separate Dymo templates. I'll go ahead and select the Avery 5160, and again we'll bring up a preview. This is the client's name and their mailing address. Let's take a look at one of the other templates. I'll go ahead and select the Avery 5163. And here on this template, we have a little bit more information. The Avery 5163 is a larger label size. So now we can include not only the client's name and address, but some of their other contact information. Even though we already have pre-made templates for our client, session, and order labels, you might want to make some slight adjustments to the information that prints out on these labels. Click on Print. I'm going to select my Print Session label, and I'm going to go back to the Edit window. I have my session label loaded. This is all of the detailed field information that is already on our pre-existing session label. On the left-hand side, you can see this is a list of all of our available fields. Anything I want to pull onto my sample label, I just have to click and drag from the list of fields. Up at the top, you'll see that we have the word Client. If I click on the down arrow next to Client, I'll see detailed client contact and personal information. On my sample template, one of the field values we have is previews. If I only offer one type of presentation method, I may not want to take up space on the session label with this information. All I have to do is select the text. I can hold down my Shift key and select More Line of Text and hit Delete on my keyboard. That's going to clear this information off of my sample template. Now I can scroll down and select the field information I want to pull over. I might have more than one photographer in the studio. it might be helpful to have the photographer listed on the session label. All I have to do is click and drag the field over onto the template. Now I'll want to adjust this so it's in line with everything else. And then, of course, if this is how you permanently want your template to print out, click Save.